What if you could board a plane in New York and step off in Singapore 19 hours later without a single stop? Sounds impossible, right? Yet this is the reality of modern aviation, where aircraft now routinely conquer distances that would have seemed like science fiction just 2 decades ago. Welcome to the World Documentaries, where today we explore the fascinating revolution of ultra-long-haul flights that are literally shrinking our planet. The story begins on a chilly March morning in 2001 when Continental Airlines made history. Their Boeing 777 departed Newark Airport and traced an unprecedented path over the frozen Arctic, crossing into Asian airspace before touching down in Hong Kong 16 hours later. This groundbreaking journey established the world's longest commercial flight at that time, forever changing how we think about global connectivity and what's possible in commercial aviation. The modern ultra-long-haul landscape fast forward to today, and that once revolutionary Newark to Hong Kong route barely registers as remarkable anymore. In fact, it doesn't even crack the top 20 longest flights worldwide. Over 5 daily departures now link these two financial powerhouses, carrying more than 1,000 passengers between them every single day. The landscape has transformed dramatically, especially within the last 3 years, witnessing an explosion in ultra-long-haul services. Consider this stunning fact: among the world's 10 longest non-stop flights, 8 were launched within just the past 3 years alone. Routes like Philippine Airlines' Manila to New York service, United's Houston to Sydney connection, and Qantas's groundbreaking Perth to London flight have redefined what passengers can expect. The current champion, Singapore Airlines' Epic Singapore to New York JFK route, spanning an incredible 9,537 miles and requiring up to 19 hours of continuous flight time depending on prevailing wind conditions, with their Singapore to Newark service a close second at 9,523 miles. Technological catalysts: the new generation aircraft. The surge in ultra-long-haul flights didn't happen by accident or willpower alone. 2 revolutionary aircraft changed everything: the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 Dreamliner. These technological marvels don't just fly farther than their predecessors, they do so while burning significantly less fuel per passenger mile. 6 of the world's 10 longest routes are operated exclusively by these next-generation aircraft, and there's compelling reasoning behind this dominance. Singapore Airlines learned this lesson the hard way when they previously operated the world's longest flight using the fuel-thirsty Airbus A340. When oil prices climbed in 2013, the route became economically unsustainable and was promptly cancelled. The A340 consumed 35% more fuel than the modern A350 while carrying fewer passengers. Over shorter maximum distances, today's advanced aircraft feature lightweight composite materials, more efficient engines, and sophisticated aerodynamics that make previously impossible routes suddenly viable from a business perspective. The fuel paradox: why longer isn't always better. Here's something counterintuitive that challenges common assumptions about aviation efficiency. Flying non-stop from Singapore to New York actually consumes more total fuel than a stopping service via Tokyo, despite requiring only 1 takeoff instead of 2. This seems to defy logic since takeoffs are the most fuel-intensive phase of any flight, but the explanation reveals fascinating physics. The culprit is simple: fuel weighs a lot, and carrying fuel requires burning additional fuel. Take the Boeing 777-200 as an example. It achieves peak efficiency around 3,000 nautical miles, burning approximately 30.6 pounds per mile. However, extend that to 8,000 miles, and consumption increases to 32.2 pounds per mile. The extra fuel needed for ultra-long distances creates its own weight penalty, eventually overtaking the efficiency gained from eliminating an extra takeoff. This is precisely why cargo carriers like UPS deliberately route their Louisville to Hong Kong flights through Anchorage, prioritizing fuel savings over speed since boxers don't complain about travel time. The business traveler premium. So why do airlines persist in operating these fuel-hungry ultra-long routes when stopping services would be cheaper? The answer lies in who's sitting in those premium cabins. Business travelers despise connections, viewing every stopover as wasted productivity and added inconvenience. They'll gladly pay substantial premiums for the privilege of non-stop service, and airlines price accordingly to capitalize on this demand. Singapore Airlines' Newark service exemplifies this strategy perfectly. The aircraft carries absolutely no economy class seating whatsoever. Only premium economy and business class passengers board this 19-hour marathon. This configuration reduces total passenger count and baggage weight, improving fuel efficiency while maximizing revenue per seat. The airline recognizes that at the prices necessary to make economy competitive on such routes, profit margins would be razor-thin anyway. Ultra-long-haul routes typically connect wealthy business hubs like Sydney, Singapore, Hong Kong, London, and New York, where corporate travel budgets can justify the premium. Economic factors: the fuel price rollercoaster. Beyond aircraft technology, another critical factor propelled the ultra-long-haul boom: dramatically fluctuating fuel prices. Jet fuel costs plummeted by half during 2015, bottoming out at merely 85 cents per gallon in January 2016. This represented historically low pricing that fundamentally altered airline economics, making fuel a smaller proportion of operating costs and rendering long-distance flights proportionally more attractive financially. While prices have oscillated since then, they've remained relatively low compared to historical averages over the past 4 years. This sustained period of affordable fuel enabled airlines to experiment with ambitious new routes that would have been financially catastrophic during high-price eras. The same economic conditions facilitated the rise of long-haul budget carriers like Norwegian Airlines and WOW Air, though some like Primera Air ultimately couldn't survive when market conditions shifted. Fuel prices remain the single most volatile factor determining whether ultra-long routes thrive or disappear overnight, disrupting traditional hub models. The proliferation of nonstop ultra-long flights carries profound implications for the global airline industry's established power structure. For decades, Middle Eastern and Asian carriers like Emirates, Singapore Airlines, and Qatar Airways dominated the lucrative Europe to Australia market through their strategically positioned hubs. British Airways operates merely 7 weekly flights to Australia, while Emirates runs 84 and Singapore operates 137 weekly services. But Qantas's Perth to London route, launched in March 2018, threatens this comfortable arrangement. Despite skepticism that passengers would endure 17 hours without stretching their legs, the route achieved an astonishing 92% load factor compared to Qantas's 84% international average. This success prompted Qantas to consider additional European routes from Perth to Paris and Frankfurt. Turkish Airlines plans Sydney flights, and Virgin Atlantic's Richard Branson announced intentions to launch London-Perth services as soon as possible. The Asian hub carriers suddenly faced genuine competition for the first time in years. The holy grail of ultra-long-haul aviation remains the unconquered Sydney to London route, requiring approximately 21 hours of continuous flight. Qantas has challenged manufacturers Boeing and Airbus to develop aircraft capable of this epic journey fully loaded. After years of development under their ambitious Project Sunrise initiative, Qantas selected the Airbus A350-2100 ULR and expects to launch these historic flights in early 2027. With the first aircraft arriving in late 2026, with modern aircraft capable of flying 11,000 miles non-stop. Virtually every populated location on Earth can now be connected without intermediate stops. Future technological advances will eliminate even the final remaining gaps. This means the only remaining barriers to ultra-long-haul expansion are economic rather than technological. Whether this revolution continues depends largely on fuel prices. If they remain low, expect more 18-2-20-hour marathons. If they spike, airlines will cancel these routes rapidly. But for now, these non-stop services are making our vast world feel just a little bit smaller with every departure. Thank you for watching the World Documentaries. If you enjoyed exploring how ultra-long-haul flights are revolutionizing global travel, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming documentaries. We'd love to hear from you. Have you ever taken an ultra-long-haul flight? What was your experience like? Drop your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Join us next time as we explore more fascinating topics that shape our interconnected world. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep wondering about the incredible achievements that bring humanity closer together. Safe travels, everyone.